let's move into more important things. So Who Dey history, we usually try to go back and look more in the distant past or, not with the current team. But, Joe Mixon was a big part of this organization. He was through the rebuild. He was a Marvin Lewis guy who was one of Zach Taylor's big moves was to sign him to a longer-term deal, keep him around. He was a captain, great culture person. He's had some off-field issues, but honestly, from when they drafted him in the second round and everybody's like, oh, my gosh, they drafted the guy with this kind of rap sheet, we were worried. But except for a few minor off-field issues that really didn't amount to being big deals, he has been a great citizen. He's been a great person to be around in Cincinnati. And I'm going to let somebody else talk before I go through all the stuff. So, Nick, you go first.
I love Joe Mixon while he was here. He's a workhorse in our backfield. He did exactly what we brought him in to do. I don't think that he was utilized properly with trying to do all the zone read runs.
He definitely changed as a player over the years. Josh, what are your thoughts on Joe Mixon?
He was a team first guy. I mean, he was definitely an exciting player. He did some really good things. Hey, I'm going to go again after you, Nick. Go ahead, continue.
I mean, Joe Mixon was like I said, Joe Mixon was a workhorse. He came in doing exactly what we wanted him to. I hated that we tried to use him in the zone reads. He's a powerhouse, run straight down the field. Break a couple tackles, get out in the open and go. If we would have used him that way, Joe Mixon would probably go down as one of the better running backs to ever play the game, in my opinion. The problem was he was underutilized. We didn't set up the screens the way that he needed them set up. It's just when you don't establish the run game, you can't establish a screen game, you can't establish a passing game. Everything hinges off of the rushing the ball. You got to be able to run the ball. And Joe Mixon was the guy to run the ball. It's just Frank just couldn't draw up a freaking plan, to block the other team so that way he can get in the open. So, Joe Mixon, best of luck to you. I hope you have a great career in Houston and finish it out strong. And I hope we see you back at Cincinnati after you retire. And more than welcome to come back. On behalf of Bengals fans, we love you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the most surprising thing of free agency this year. I mean, everybody knew. Joe Mixon was even told he's going to be cut. Then somehow the Texans decide they want to actually trade for him. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It sounds like a Texans thing to do. Hey, we're going to give you something for somebody that you were going to get rid of anyway. That makes no sense. But, I mean, I remember one play specifically from Joe Mixon. It was against the Steelers, might have been 4 years ago, something like that. He got hit 5 yards in the backfield, broke 3 tackles, and picked up 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. I mean, that was what kind of player he was. He was not going to go down. But when you're constantly getting hit behind the line of scrimmage because they have not figured out how to build the offensive line since they let Whitworth go, it has been a struggle for him to be a solid runner week after week. He's fighting for every single yard, and that's going to wear on you. So, I mean, I loved having Joe Mixon. He was great. He was always fun to watch. He was a team-first guy, like I said. I mean, I think the Texans, hopefully they can make something with him and he can still have a very productive career because he's not young in football terms, but he's not old either. He still got some life left to him. His time with the Bengals just has reached its end. Go ahead.
And it's so hard to say goodbye, but some of my favorite plays that he had are games, really. So the 5-touchdown game, that was awesome a few years ago. That was fun to watch. His touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, he has the same amount of touchdown passes as Joe Burrow, so in the Super Bowl. So there we go. That was fun to watch. And then a memory with him actually not playing. And this was a year that we thought was going to be okay and then ended up disappointing. It was when Dalton threw the touchdown to A.J. Green in Atlanta, and we're all like, oh, this is going to be a good season. He slides down there on his crutches and, gives A.J. a huge hug. Unfortunately, that season did not turn out very well. But, he loved the team. He loves the game. He was very entertaining to watch. And he got a lot of wear and tear. I think that's one of the issues that really hit him hard. Well, coming out of college, he was that, agile runner. He could stop, go, shift lanes, go different directions. But the wear and tear, the amount of use that he got, he just did not have the ability to continue to do that forever. So, where he stands in Bengals history, he's third all-time in rushing yards at 64-12. Touchdowns, he had 49. So that's quite a few. He's third, I think, in touchdowns as well, because the leader there is Pete Johnson, but Pete Johnson did a lot of just jump over the line. He still had a lot of yards, but just not quite there. But Joe Mixon, great player. Fantastic job. Thank you for all you've done. We appreciate you here in Cincinnati. Like Nick said, come back, be a ruler of the jungle when you retire. And no offense, but if we play you while you're in Houston, we hope we beat you.
Thank you for listening to Talkin' Bengals. Be sure to like and subscribe to Talkin' Bengals on Facebook and Instagram at Talkin' Bengals. You can also listen to Talkin' Bengals on your preferred podcast provider. See you next time. Who Dey?